So it's 7:30 on March 29th. We are back out here at the Baptist Road parking lot where I finished part 1 of the Mountains of Sea Trail segment 10, and the goal is that we finish what I started back in January. So I'm going to go from here to the Falls Lake Dam today. We're not going to be doing all of that. It'll be going to Shinleaf Campground, which is about 15 miles. So it's going to be a gorgeous day. Looking forward to it. See you on the trail. All right, finally back on the white blazes. Had to take a little side trail on part 1 to get back to that parking lot where my wife picked me up. So good old trusty white blazes. I guess a little backstory, since a little bit of time's gone by since I did part 1. But when I posted the first set of videos from that trip, I got a really great response. A lot of really great community surrounding the Mountains of Sea Trail, and I think it's really fun to see this white blaze coming from people all over the state, all over the internet, and it kind of gives you a sense of community, sense of connection. It's that's pretty cool. I guess I can add that to my reasons of why this is so much fun. So absolutely gorgeous this morning, watching the sun come up through the trees. A few miles in, been hiking for a little over an hour, and Highway 98, there's a little stretch of road walk on Highway 98 that's coming up, and I had been able to hear Highway 98 for at least the last half hour. It's a really loud 2-lane road. Still very pretty. Just easing on. Woo! Highway 98 is definitely busy. This morning rush hour. It's probably, I didn't look at the watch, but probably between 8:30 and 9, somewhere around in that area. But man, you can definitely tell this is a main east-west corridor for Raleigh and Durham. Still a pretty day. Easing on. Good times. Maybe somebody can help me out here, but I'm not sure what a waterfowl impoundment might mean. So I guess if you've ever gotten your waterfowl impounded anywhere in this area, you can have your you can come to the Highway 98 waterfowl impoundment and get your waterfowl. The things you see. All right, finally off the highway. Back on the trail. So I covered it in my previous videos about why segment 10, even though as a crow flies probably doesn't cover as much ground as maybe some of the other segments, but segment 10 is just over 77 miles, even though it only stretches from the west side of Durham to the east side of Raleigh. It's because of that right there. It follows all those fingers of Falls Lake, and so that side of the lake I've actually already hiked. So that's where I was maybe about an hour ago, and so following the shoreline of Falls Lake, that's where all the miles come from. So not complaining, because it's gorgeous. This is what we're walking through at the moment. So it kind of gives, for me, it gives me an appreciation for what the Mountains to Sea Trail folks go through to make a trail like this a reality. Make a long distance trail that cuts across a state. Inevitably, you're going to run into private property, commercial property, things like that. So, you know, I imagine there's a fair amount of donating land, donating time, which is awesome. And I imagine there are also some folks that sell their land or sell usage rights so that the trail can go through their land. So I imagine this is somebody's land that they've decided to log. But it's still a gorgeous day. Still moving. Sun's still shining. Making good time, despite all of the stopping for pictures and videos and switchbacks and whatnot. So that's good. Probably another maybe hour or so. Stop and get some lunch. I'm just gonna look for that perfect lunch spot. See you out there. So got a few things that we wanted to check off our list for things to see on the Mountains to Sea Trail. So I think I can confidently check off creepy old buildings for this trip. There's a couple of creepy old buildings out here. Be a super set for a horror movie, because there's the trail is really the only road that I see to get out here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe there's a little ATV trail or something, but it doesn't look like anybody's legitimately been out here for a while. Still creepy, even if it's accessible. Still good times. Apparently, the thing to do in this area is put rocks in between trees. So lunch. Well, this is my lunch spot. It's not too shabby. Feels good to get the pack off for a little bit and chill. Get some food to recharge. Good times. First sign of civilization. So that's the Rolling View Marina. So again, Mountains to Sea Trail segment 10 does some zigzagging and weaving and waving and going in all kinds of different directions to get its mileage. So if you're looking at a map, Baptist Road parking lot where I started is right at the entrance of Rolling View Campground. So people that want to drive to that marina have to go right by where I started today. But that's where the miles come from. Because basically started, if you can see that white boat way out there. White boat way off in the distance. I started just about where he is, just off in the woods, and then walked all the way down. Can't even see where the creek, it turns into a creek, but that finger, and then all the way back up. So that's where the mileage comes from. So I guess it actually does me good to see this, to kind of get an appreciation for how far we're actually walking. But yeah, it's good times. Alright, made it to North Carolina 50, aka Creedmoor Road. This is some moderately familiar territory. But very short little road walk. And crossing the street. We are going to have to play Frogger on this one because I know this road. And speed limit is definitely 55 miles an hour. And people definitely don't go 55 miles an hour. It's more like 70. Yeah, 70 is probably more accurate. So I gotta wait for a good break in the traffic. So that this isn't my last backpacking trip ever. I think after this truck will be good. Oh God. Here we go. Moving right along. All right. That's enough of that. Home sweet home. Alright, so I didn't do a whole lot of filming when I first got here. So just bring up to speed. I made it to Shinleaf Campground. And I was just really tired. Partly because I just haven't gotten a terrible amount of sleep in the last few days. And that I hiked 15 something miles. So I took a little nap, and well, I set up my hammock first, and then I took a nap. I feel pretty recharged now. Back, and this has got to be one of the noisiest campsites that I have been to in a while. So it's really great because it's right next to the lake. Very beautiful. We're gonna watch the sunset here in a little bit, but I posted a photo on Instagram this morning, and my buddy John, Carolina Bass Fever John, told me to look for all the professional fishermen out here. So I'm assuming that means there's a fishing tournament out here, which would explain the 1,800. It's an exaggeration, but it feels like there are a billion fishing boats out here, and they're all zooming by this campsite at Mach 2. So they're all pretty much gone now. But it was a little ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm glad they're done. It's quieting down a little bit. Just to show you how much sound carries. There's a family over there with kids. I guess there's a campground on the other side of the lake as well. And I can hear them pretty clearly. But so the other thing about this campsite is it's in the flight path or the landing pattern for RDU Airport, for Raleigh-Durham Airport. And so there's a freaking jetliner landing every 5 minutes, it feels like. So maybe if RDU kind of quiets down, I can do a star lapse or a night lapse or something like that. But I think I'm just gonna kind of chill out, and like I said, as soon as that sun goes down, I'm probably gonna be pretty close behind it. But good times.